passes away. So his sons Edmund and David take over the management of the many businesses that their father had established under the name of the D.H. Haeger Brick and Tile Works. And by 1900, Haeger's multifaceted industry included coal, wood, flour, and grinding, as well as brick and tile, plus the management of over 3,000 acres of land. So there was a lot involved, and he really, that little company that he purchased, they grew to a magnificent amount of industry. This is just an example of showing some of the articles that I found. This is from 1900, for rent, a well-improved 290-acre farm adjoining Huntley, Illinois, belonging to the estate of David H. Haeger. So, some of their land. I found this newspaper article from 1900. This is a little humorous, too. Thieves get $300 from a safe. December 22nd, the safe in the D.H. Haeger's coal office in Dundee was broken into by burglars early this morning, and about $300 was stolen. It's about $9,000 in today's numbers. From there, the thieves went to the post office and succeeded in getting in, but they were frightened away while at work on the safe. Night watchman Steed encountered the two men as they were attempting or were getting into their buggy, but they escaped. But what I wanted to really emphasize in this here is that that's his coal office. So he had a lot of other things going on besides just brick and drain tile. So what happened is this. David Haeger, his son, managed the business outside of the brick and tile works, while his brother Edmund managed the brick and tile works company. This is Edmund here. So Edmund managed this from 1900 to 1919. And then in 1919, he purchased the entire company and ownership from the other family members that were involved. So around 1908 or shortly thereafter, an employee of Haeger named Fred Reich, an experienced potter from Germany, showed Edmund Haeger a number of pieces of pottery that he had made. So Edmund envisioned this idea of an entirely new category of products. So in 1912, Edmund introduced the production of unglazed flower pots. This will look something like this. This piece was in the Haeger Museum and labeled early experimental piece called the spill pot. Does anybody know what a spill pot is? I didn't know. I know now. It makes total sense. It's called a spill pot, and this is what it is. Spill flower pots that turn their flowers into strings of paint. So, isn't that something? I just found this on the internet last night. So there's many examples of these pots or individual things that are used on the side with the flowers coming out of them. So that's a spill pot. So during this time and period of change, additional and more highly advanced kilns were installed at Haeger. This is a photo of the milk bottle kiln installed at Haeger's Dundee factory in 1914. Now, look at the size of this. It's a huge piece of, it's a huge kiln. Look at this ladder. So, first of all, the fires were set below to heat up the kiln using coal. And these temperatures had to be between 1,800 and 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. The pottery was placed into the kiln here. How? I talked with Lexi about this. Lexi is the Haeger who owned the pottery up until it shut down a few years ago. Okay, she ran. She was David Haeger, who we talked of earlier. That was her great grandfather. So she told me what happened. They used to carry it up the ladder and place it into here. But this is how they did it, on their heads. But according to Lexi, they would have like a piece of wood, like a platform, like they would carry it up on that way. I just can't imagine. But this is what they did. This is a current picture of a kiln in another country. How they're.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't remember those guys.
No, this isn't our country. This isn't our workers here. I should clarify that. Yeah, I just found this picture just to give an example.
Oh.
Okay, that isn't from Dundee. But that is from a current kiln. The current kiln that's is functioning. This is how they carry the bricks to that. So it's interesting. So in 1914, the first glazed ware was produced by Haeger. And this is the first two pieces ever produced. Every piece had a name or a number attached to it. What were these pieces called?
1 and 2.
Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. Yep.
So it's kind of funny.
So the first customer was Marshall Field. And that was Marshall Field stuck with Haeger Pottery till the very end.
It's pretty something.
So, as already mentioned, in 1919, Edmund Haeger purchased full ownership of this company from the family members, and he then formed a separate corporation, and it was called Haeger Potteries. So it went from Haeger Brick to Haeger Potteries. And that's the name that we know today, Art and Pottery and Lamps. From the inception of this company, the development of Haeger Potteries has been deeply influenced by very accomplished and gifted artisans, geniuses in the field of pottery. Here's an example. This is Johann Martin Stengel. And this gentleman was an accomplished artisan who had developed some of America's most famous pottery glazes, as well as some of its most respected arts and crafts pottery shapes. And he was hired by Haeger in 1914 as a ceramic engineer. He didn't stay for too long, though. By 1918, he left the company. But the influence that he gave within that short time span ended up influencing the development of Haeger pottery for years afterwards. Here's an example of some of the things that were produced, the glazing, special glazing with colors and so on, that he helped them develop. Beautiful pieces. This is called the 3 Haeger Fool's Caps. One of the lamps. Look at that beautiful glazing. Just amazing what they could do. Is my microphone going bad? Can you hear me okay in the back still? Okay. In 1933, Chicago celebrated its first 100 years of the World's Fair. The theme was